This morning I was reading some really interesting news about the ET Atari games. Now, for those of you who don't know what the ET Atari game is, basically, it was a game that was made for the Atari back in the early 80s, and it's pretty much considered the worst game ever created. And they made millions of copies of it, and because it was doing so bad, they buried it in landfill. But recently they decided to dig up the old cartridges and sell them on eBay, and they sold for a whopping $108,000. There's actually a really interesting documentary on it on Netflix. Actually, let me just... Yes, it's on there. Check it out. Even if you're not a gamer, it's actually a really interesting story, and it's actually a pretty well-produced documentary, so check that one out. But I digress. This story actually really got me thinking, what is the world's most expensive video game?
You know, putting a value on something is always somewhat subjective, so this is kind of arguably the best answer, but I guess it's open to interpretation and you should take it with a grain of salt. However, the most expensive video game ever is an Atari game called Gamma Attack. Basically, you're this little flying saucer trying to shoot down tanks. And I know what you're thinking, how could this possibly be worth anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000? Well, for starters, it's one of a kind. There was only one cartridge made, making it exceptionally rare. Here's an interesting fact. It actually went on eBay recently for a buy it now price of $500,000. Now, $500,000 is a lot of money, but don't worry, if you do want to play this really expensive game, there is a ROM out there so you can indulge. Is that something you would spend $500,000 on? Not me personally, but I'm interested to know. Write your suggestions down in the comment section. What would you buy with $500,000? As always, it's been great chatting to you guys, and hopefully we can chat again soon.